Why is it that night seems to awaken our deepest fears? Why does the silence of darkness feel more threatening than peaceful? Why does the mind, so easily distracted by light and sound during the day, suddenly feel exposed when the world grows quiet? It is because, my beloved, when the outer noise recedes, the inner voice begins to speak. And for many, that voice has long been neglected. The fears you feel at night are not born from monsters in the dark, but from forgetfulness of the light. They are not proof of danger, but evidence of a disconnection from your own divine center. The ego, you see, lives by distraction. It thrives on the activity of daylight, the busyness of thought, the endless doing that keeps the soul turned outward. But at night, when the body slows and the world withdraws its many faces, the soul is left to feel its own silence. And in that silence, the unresolved rises, the wounds unhealed, the doubts unspoken, the loneliness that even loved ones cannot erase. But you must understand this. Fear is not the presence of evil. Fear is simply the absence of remembered light. When you remember who walks with you, fear becomes not a threat, but a signal to return to God. Most souls fall into sleep like beggars at the gate of unconsciousness. They lie down with minds still racing, hearts still clinging to pain, energies scattered and unguarded. They enter the dream world unarmored, unaware, unprepared, and so they feel vulnerable, spiritually open, but not in surrender, open in exposure. And that exposure becomes the fertile soil in which fear plants its illusions. But you were not meant to sleep this way. You were not meant to approach the holy threshold of rest as a fugitive. You were meant to walk into night as a priest walks into the temple, with oil in your lamp, with reverence in your breath, with the sacred name of God on your tongue. The night is not your enemy. It is your sanctuary. The silence is not your foe. It is the chamber where Divine Mother waits to place her hand upon your brow and bless your soul with rest. Let me offer you an image. Imagine the soul as a flame, soft, radiant, ever flickering in the wind of worldly noise. During the day, the flame is barely noticed, for the sun is too bright. But at night, in the absence of outer light, the flame reveals its true brilliance. Yet if you have forgotten to shield that flame with prayer, with attention, with divine remembrance, then even the softest breeze of fear can cause it to flicker wildly. You must learn to guard your flame, not with walls, but with light, not with effort, but with surrender. You ask, why do I feel unsafe at night? And I say, because you have not remembered who guards your soul. You have not claimed your divine inheritance of protection. You have not invited the light to walk with you as darkness falls. But all that can change now. Say this within yourself, even now as a vow. I will no longer fall into night as a stranger to the light. I will enter sleep as a child of God, watched over, protected, and held. The fear you feel is not permanent. It is not a sign of weakness. It is a call to remember. And tonight, you will answer that call. Let me now tell you something sacred, something your soul already knows, but your mind may have forgotten. You are not unprotected. Even when your eyes cannot see it, even when your mind is clouded by worry, even when sleep takes the body and the conscious mind fades, there is a presence that stands watch. Divine protection is not fantasy, not superstition, not a weak soul's last resort. It is a living law, activated by devotion and alignment. It is the shield that forms when the soul remembers its source. Protection does not mean you will never feel the winds of life. It means that within the storm, you will remain centered in a stillness that cannot be disturbed. The warrior of spirit does not avoid battle. He walks through it untouched because his vibration is higher than harm. This is the secret. Divine protection is not imposed from outside. It radiates from within. It is not given to you like armor made of metal. It rises like light from the heart, like fire from the spine, like radiance from the very core of your being. Your aura, that subtle field of energy which surrounds your body, is shaped by your consciousness. It reflects your thoughts, your emotions, your devotion. When you are fearful, the aura dims and thins. When you are angry, it becomes jagged and erratic. But when you are surrendered, still, and centered in God, the aura becomes a shield of divine luminosity. That is your real armor, not willpower, not defense, but vibrational unity with spirit. The saints and masters were not protected because they were hidden from darkness. They were protected because their presence became light. Even wild beasts bowed before them. Even disease lost its grip. Even death seemed to pause, for their vibration was not of this world. And this same protection, though not always visible, begins the moment you speak the sacred word with complete faith. God does not protect through intervention. He protects through vibration. When you match your inner frequency with His, nothing of darkness can enter. Let me paint a picture for you. You are a lamp in a dark room. If you burn bright, the shadows flee. If you dim, they return. God's protection is like oil in the lamp, not forced, but allowed. You receive it by remembering that you are not the lamp alone. You are the flame within it. Speak this truth before sleep, and you will not simply be defended. You will become untouchable by fear. And now say within, I am not protected because I am strong. I am protected because I rest in God. I do not resist darkness. I shine through it. This is the law. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is alignment with the light that cannot be harmed. Tonight, that light will surround you, not from outside in, but from inside out. Do not underestimate the power of what you say, especially before you sleep. The world has taught you that words are just sounds, idle thoughts given voice. But I tell you now, words are currents. They carry vibration. They shape consciousness. They pierce through the veil of the seen and the unseen. And when spoken with devotion, they do not fall. They rise. They rise like incense before the divine. They rise like light through the spine. They rise and create real protection, not through superstition, but through spiritual science. The sages of old understood this well. They did not speak carelessly, for they knew that every word spoken set a tone, carved an impression upon the subconscious, magnetized the aura in one direction or another. Your words, especially those repeated before sleep, set the compass of your astral journey. They determine what energies approach you. They decide what realm you vibrate toward. If your final thoughts are saturated in worry, fear, anger, or sorrow, then your subtle body aligns with lower vibrations. You may experience nightmares, confusion, or heaviness. But if your last words are offered in faith, in stillness, in reverent surrender, they seal you in divine magnetism. Imagine your aura as a garden. Throughout the day it collects debris, negativity from others, stress from thought, wounds from old patterns. But in the final hour before sleep, you are given the sacred chance to tend to that garden. And the words you speak become seeds. Fear plants weeds, complaint attracts insects, but divine affirmations, spoken slowly, consciously, plant light. And that light becomes your shield, not because you forced it, but because you invited it. This is the meaning of transcendence, not escape, but elevation. And so I tell you, the final words you speak before sleep must be sacred. They must be chosen, not inherited from the noise of the day. They must not be, I'm so tired, or I hope tomorrow is better, or I hate feeling like this. No, let your final breath be a benediction. Let it speak as a soul who knows the divine is listening, waiting, and surrounding. You must begin to treat your speech as spiritual electricity. Every syllable carries charge. Every phrase becomes a command to the subconscious. And the subconscious, once instructed, obeys with precision. So why not send it into sleep carrying light? Why not give it the password of peace? Say this now with me. The words I speak before sleep shape the world I enter. My breath is not just breath, it is a vessel of sacred sound. And tonight, as your body prepares to rest, you will speak words that will not only protect you, but transform you. For the mantra you are about to receive will become more than sound. It will become the gate you walk through into divine shelter. Let your words become wings, and the night will carry you home. And now, beloved soul, I give you the sacred phrase, not crafted by poetry, not borrowed from ritual, but distilled from the fire of inner communion. A phrase that contains within it the full invocation of divine nearness and heavenly shielding. A phrase to speak as the final curtain of consciousness lowers across the eyes of the body and lifts from the eyes of the soul. a phrase that calls not only for protection, but for union. Say these words now with me, slowly, as a child speaking to the Mother of all light. Heavenly Father, surround me now with thy light. Let no harm touch me, for I rest in thee. Let the words become breath. Let the breath become prayer. Let the prayer become presence. Say it again. Heavenly Father, surround me now with thy light. Let no harm touch me, for I rest in thee. Each line is a doorway, each word a flame. Heavenly Father, not a distant force, but your beloved, the one from whom you were never separated. The masculine face of the infinite, protector and purifier. The voice that says, you are mine. In this invocation, you are not begging. You are remembering. You are placing your soul back into the arms that never released you. Surround me now with thy light. Not later, not someday. Now you are asking for no ordinary light. You are invoking the conscious, divine, living light that pervades all creation, that burns away shadows not with violence, but with love. You are asking for that light to encircle you, your body, your mind, your aura, your breath, your sleep. That light does not need to fight darkness. It banishes it by its very presence. Let no harm touch me, not from fear, but from faith. Not because you are hiding, but because you are held. This is not a cry of weakness. It is a statement of truth, that nothing of shadow may cross the threshold of your soul, because you have now placed yourself within a higher vibration. For I rest in thee. This is the crown of the prayer. This is the truth that renders all fear unnecessary. You are not alone in a dark room. You are not a body in a bed. You are a soul resting in God. There is no safer place than this. And when this truth is spoken before sleep, your subtle body begins to glow. The aura thickens with divine current. The astral self rises into higher realms, and the dream world becomes a temple. Speak this prayer aloud 3 times before bed, not quickly but slowly, with breath, with reverence. Let it anchor you. Then close your eyes, whisper the prayer again 3 times silently, with your gaze lifted inward, letting the words dissolve into stillness. Now say with me from the depth of your being, Heavenly Father, surround me now with thy light. Let no harm touch me, for I rest in thee. And as the world falls away, the light will come, and in that light you are safe. You are not just guarded, you are held by the source of all that is. Now that you have spoken the sacred phrase and invited the light to encircle your soul, let us quiet the final doubts that may still whisper in the corners of your mind. You ask, how do I know I am protected? I speak the words, but I still feel afraid. And I say to you, protection is not always felt in the body. It is known by the soul. It does not always appear as warmth or vision. Sometimes it comes as an unshakable calm, a still center within you, even while the winds of life howl around the edges. The first sign of divine protection is stillness. Not the absence of thought, but the absence of panic. A grounded knowing that whatever enters your life will not enter without purpose, and that no force, no energy, no shadow can enter your field without passing through the will of the divine. That stillness is not your doing, it is your receiving. You did not make it, it was bestowed. The second sign is a gentle warmth at the heart center or the base of the skull, a soft spiritual pressure, like the hand of God resting upon you. It may come during prayer, or as you drift into sleep, or upon waking. It is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is so subtle that only a quiet soul can feel it. But it is there, a divine touch, a reminder. And then come the dreams, the presence of luminous beings, a vision of light, the absence of nightmares. Or if a fearful dream comes, you awaken unafraid, because something within you knows. That was not real. That was not mine. That was not my destiny. That was only an echo, and it did not touch the soul. You may also notice that the outer world becomes less threatening. Situations resolve themselves before they explode. People you once feared now lose their power over your emotions. This is not coincidence. This is the silent working of the aura, magnetized and purified by divine invocation. That which once entered your field no longer finds a door, for the door is now guarded. not by force, but by presence. And yet let me gently free you of a dangerous illusion. Divine protection does not mean nothing difficult will ever happen. It does not mean the winds of karma will never touch your life. It means this: whatever comes, you will pass through it unharmed in the spirit. Even pain will pass through the soul like wind through a flame. It may cause movement, but it will not extinguish the light. The fire of God in you is eternal. You may not always feel protected, but you are. You may not always see the light, but it surrounds you. You may doubt the power of a simple prayer, but the saints have moved mountains with a whisper. So now say with me, though I walk through darkness, I am not alone. Though shadows fall, light surrounds me. Though I sleep, I am not unguarded. I am held in God. This is not belief. It is truth. And when you rest in this truth, protection ceases to be something you ask for. It becomes something you embody. And from that embodiment, all fear falls away. Now that you have felt the certainty of divine protection in your sleep, let us not leave that grace confined to the night. For your spiritual armor is not meant only for dreams. It is meant for waking, for walking, for the quiet courage you carry through each day. Protection is not an event. It is a state of alignment. And you can build this state not just with occasional prayer, but with daily practice, a living rhythm of devotion, a sanctified lifestyle that deepens your aura and sharpens your soul's edge until no illusion, no shadow, no fear can breach it. Begin each evening with intention. This is not a performance. It is a preparation. As the sun begins to set, say within, the time of retreat has come. I now prepare to return to the temple of my inner self. Keep your outer environment simple. Dimming the lights, silencing distractions, and softening the atmosphere helps magnetize your aura inward. Every act of quietness, lighting a candle, folding your hands, offering a whispered thank you, charges your space with sacred current. Then when the hour for rest draws near, sit down in stillness. Lift your gaze to the point between the eyebrows. This is the spiritual eye, the inner light gate, the divine screen upon which God's answers and guidance appear. Keep your spine straight. Let your breath become deep and calm. And now recite the sacred phrase slowly as a living mantra, letting each word pour over the cells of your body like divine oil. Heavenly Father, surround me now with thy light. Let no harm touch me, for I rest in thee. Visualize a sphere of radiant white light forming around your body, starting at your heart, then expanding outward. This light is not symbolic. It is subtle substance. The more you visualize it, the more you attract it. And the more you speak the mantra, the more that light thickens, becoming your shield, your comfort, your robe of divine assurance. For those who seek deeper resonance, you may add physical enhancements. A candle at your bedside, not for superstition, but for reminding your subconscious of the light's constancy. A small flower or sacred object placed gently near your pillow. Something fragrant, something pure. If possible, lie on your right side, the posture recommended by ancient yogis for conscious spiritual sleep. Let your face point toward the east, where light begins its journey each morning. Let your last vision be stillness, not a screen. Let your last sound be mantra, not machinery. And know this, my beloved, every time you do this, your aura strengthens. Every night you enter sleep this way, your subconscious becomes more faithful, your astral path more luminous. You are not repeating ritual to earn favor. You are aligning with truth already given. God does not withhold protection, but the soul must remember it. And remembrance comes through repetition, through posture, through breath, through nightly surrender. Say now from your deepest place, I do not protect myself with fear. I protect myself with light. Each breath I take, each word I speak, builds a fortress not of stone, but of spirit. Let these practices become your devotion, not a chore, not a superstition, but a sacred return. You are not building walls, you are building radiance, and no shadow may enter where that radiance reigns. Now we come to the sacred closing of the day, the final breath ritual, the soul's way of bowing into sleep, not as escape, but as union. Let this be the seal upon your practice. Let it be the quiet invocation that completes your preparation, the final whisper that tells the astral world, this soul is guarded, this soul is aligned, this soul walks with God. Sit now on the edge of your bed, or lie down already in posture, and close your eyes gently. Place your right hand over your heart and lift your gaze slightly, not with strain, but with inner reverence, toward the point between the eyebrows. This is your inner sun. Even in darkness it shines. Breathe deeply. On the inhale, say silently, I rest in thee. On the exhale, whisper gently, thy light surrounds me. Again, inhale, I rest in thee. Exhale, thy light surrounds me. Let each repetition be slower, deeper, fuller. Let the words begin to dissolve into the breath itself, until you are no longer reciting them. They are reciting you. Until they become the rhythm of your soul preparing to rise into the higher realms. Do this for 7 full breaths. With each cycle, imagine your aura thickening with light, a golden cocoon, a translucent armor, a womb of divine fire encasing your form. You are not making it happen. You are simply letting it be revealed. And now speak the sacred phrase one final time. This time, not from the mouth, but from the center of your being. Heavenly Father, surround me now with thy light. Let no harm touch me, for I rest in thee. Then say no more. Let the breath be soft. Let the mind be open. Let the light carry you. In this final breath, you have invoked your guardians, aligned your vibration, sealed your aura, and surrendered the night to God. You are not falling asleep. You are rising into spiritual rest. And from this rest, only good can come. And now, beloved, we seal the night, not with an ending, but with a decree. For what you have invoked is not merely a protection for this hour, or this night, or this single moment of fatigue. What you have created through your breath, your prayer, your posture, is nothing less than a temple. And that temple is you. Your aura is no longer an open gate. It has become a sanctuary. It has become a holy of holies, a radiance encircling you like a vow written in light across the heavens. You may not see it with your eyes, but your soul already knows. Something sacred has taken root. You are no longer walking through this world as a body seeking comfort. You are walking as a soul wearing a robe of divine flame. Fear may knock, but it will not enter. Shadows may rise, but they will find no place to rest. Because you have remembered the truth, you do not belong to darkness. You are a child of light. The phrase you now carry is no longer just a mantra. It is a spiritual signature. Spoken once with devotion, it echoes for hours in the etheric realms. Spoken nightly, it becomes a bell, ringing through the astral corridors, announcing, this soul is guarded. This soul is aligned. This soul rests in God. And now, before your eyes close, make this vow, not as a comment, not as a response, but as a covenant between your soul and the divine. I rest in divine light tonight. Write it below. Let the words leave your fingers and enter the field. Let heaven see your signature. Let other souls find it and remember their own. For we are never protected alone. When one soul invokes the light, that light grows stronger for all. And now, as your brother, your friend, your eternal companion in the search for God, I say this blessing over you. May no fear disturb you. May no darkness reach you. May no shadow remain within you. For tonight and every night you rest in God. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. You are not unguarded. You are light. You are loved. You are held. Om Shanti. Peace. Say it now for the last time tonight. Heavenly Father, surround me now with thy light. Let no harm touch me, for I rest in thee. The words have been spoken. The aura has been sealed. The night is now holy. Sleep, soul of light. You are safe. Beloved soul, when you close your eyes at night and feel the weight of the day pressing upon you, have you not also felt the invisible weight of many yesterday-sold wounds, unhealed mistakes, memories that return like shadows no matter how far you try to run? Have you not wondered why certain patterns keep repeating in your life? Why some sorrows seem older than this single lifetime? Why a heaviness lingers in the heart as though carved there by unseen hands? These, my dear one, are not mere coincidences of mind or circumstance. They are the silent imprints of karma, subtle energies of past actions that have followed your soul like unseen companions, shaping paths of destiny across lifetimes. But I come to you not to add more weight to your heart, not to make you believe that these chains can never be broken. I have walked through many lives and know by direct experience that every karmic bond can be burned away not by endless suffering or struggle, but by a single, sincere act of divine remembrance. There are words, blessed and charged with the fire of spirit, which, when uttered with full sincerity of soul, ignite a light so powerful that lifetimes of karmic entanglement can be reduced to ash in an instant. Karma is not punishment. It is not a sentence handed down by a distant judge. It is the echo of your own thoughts and deeds, returning to teach you, to guide you, to lead you back toward the remembrance of your divine self. And just as it was created by your actions, it can be purified by a higher action and action of the soul turning to God with such intensity that all past shadows are dissolved in the boundless light of the infinite. Today, I wish to share with you this secret of divine purification, not as philosophy or ritual, but as a living experience you can taste in your own being. Through a single, sacred utterance, spoken not from the lips alone, but from the depth of spirit within you, lifetimes of karma can be burned away, freeing your soul to rise into its eternal destiny. Close your eyes now, dear one, and feel the silent promise in your heart that you were never meant to live as a prisoner of the past. You were meant to soar in freedom, and that freedom awaits you even now. Beloved, before we speak the sacred words that set the soul ablaze with divine freedom, you must first understand the nature of karma itself. So many souls walk through life weighed down by invisible burdens, yet never pause to ask what truly binds them. Karma is not fate written by some stern hand in heaven, nor is it random misfortune that descends without meaning. It is, rather, the subtle law of vibration, the eternal justice of divine intelligence woven through creation. Every thought you think, every feeling you nurture, every word you speak, and every action you take carries within it a vibratory seed. This seed is not lost to time. It is planted in the fertile soil of your astral and causal bodies, where it continues to vibrate long after the moment has passed. Just as an echo returns to the one who made the sound, so too do these seeds of vibration return to you, shaping the circumstances of your life, attracting certain souls into your path, and even determining the tendencies with which you are born into each new incarnation. Imagine a golden thread woven through lifetimes, stretching across centuries of existence. Each act of kindness adds a luminous fiber to that thread. Each moment of selfishness or harm weaves a shadow into its design. Over countless births, this thread becomes a tapestry, a web of destiny that binds you to souls and situations where lessons remain unfinished. Karma is this tapestry, unseen yet inescapably real, drawing you again and again into experiences meant not to punish but to awaken. Yogananda taught that karmic bonds are like magnets hidden beneath the surface of life. They silently pull souls together, sometimes in joy, sometimes in conflict, but always with the purpose of spiritual growth. Even those you cannot forgive or forget are part of this sacred magnetism. Until the lesson of divine love is learned, the magnet continues to draw you close. But here is the blessed truth. Just as a magnet can be demagnetized by a stronger force, so too can the bonds of karma be dissolved by the higher vibration of spirit. Ordinary actions cannot fully erase karmic seeds. Only when you invoke divine consciousness, when you open your heart completely to God, can the hidden fire of spirit rise and burn these seeds before they have time to sprout into further lifetimes of suffering. Feel this truth now, beloved. You are not helpless before your karma. You are not condemned to carry these burdens forever. Within you lies the power of divine fire, the same power that breathed life into your soul at the dawn of creation. In the next part, we will awaken this hidden flame by understanding the secret of the sacred word, the mantra of liberation that Yogananda revealed to those ready to be free. Beloved soul, having now glimpsed the nature of karma as a tapestry woven by your own actions and intentions across countless lifetimes, let us walk together toward the flame that can consume those ancient threads. Understand this well. Karma cannot be untangled by mere intellect, nor can it be erased by earthly deeds alone. Pilgrimages, rituals, offerings all have their place in refining the heart, but the deepest karmic seeds are rooted not in the body but in the astral and causal planes of your being. They can only be dissolved by a fire that burns on those higher planes, a fire born not of matter but of spirit. Yogananda spoke often of the sacred science of sound, of vibration infused with divine remembrance. He knew that words themselves, when charged with God consciousness, become more than human speech. They become conduits for divine energy, vessels carrying the blazing power of spirit into the deepest recesses of your soul. There are phrases, beloved, that when uttered with the full force of your longing for God, reverberate through your astral spine, ignite dormant currents of light, and consume lifetimes of karmic shadows like dry leaves cast into a holy flame. This is the hidden power of the mantra, not as mere repetition of syllables, not as mechanical chant, but as a living, breathing invocation of your eternal self. When spoken in perfect stillness of heart, each word becomes a bolt of divine electricity, striking the seeds of karma hidden within your astral body and reducing them to nothingness. And because this transformation is vibrational, it does not take lifetimes to achieve. It can, in one profound moment of soul awakening, burn away karmic bonds that might otherwise have taken centuries to unravel. Yogananda revealed that one must not only say these sacred words with the lips, but with every atom of one's being, with a surrender so complete that ego itself disappears into the invocation. When you whisper these words from the depths of spirit, it is not you who speaks, it is God within you, calling himself back into remembrance. And when God speaks through you, nothing of delusion can survive. The chains of karma cannot endure the touch of the infinite. Close your eyes for a moment, beloved, and feel within you the silent current of divine sound. Beneath the chatter of thoughts, beneath even the pulse of the heart, there is a subtle vibration, a hum of spirit ever present within your spine and mind. It is this vibration that the sacred mantra awakens and amplifies. It is this vibration, once fully ignited, that burns away lifetimes of karma and lifts your soul upward, free at last to soar in the radiant light of God's eternal joy. Now let us prepare the vessel of body and mind so that when the sacred utterance is finally spoken, it is not just heard in this world, but echoed in the highest heavens. Beloved one, before the sacred word can pass your lips with the power to burn away lifetimes of karma, you must become like a vessel emptied of all worldly noise, made pure and still enough to hold the blazing nectar of spirit. Just as a flame cannot rise in the wind or in waterlogged wood, so too can the fire of divine mantra only ignite in a mind stilled of restlessness and in a heart dried of clinging attachments. Preparation is not a ritual alone. It is an inner cleansing, a silent offering of self into the hands of the infinite. Begin by sitting quietly in a place where no sound of the outer world can disturb your inner temple. Let your spine become like a column of light, straight and unshaken, rooted in earth yet reaching upward toward the heavens. Close your eyes gently and lift your inner gaze to the spiritual eye, the divine point between the eyebrows where Christ and Krishna consciousness awakens. Feel your breath slowing, not by force, but as a natural surrender to the stillness that begins to bloom within you. Now take a deep, slow breath and silently affirm, I release all burdens of the past. I release all bondage of future. As you exhale, imagine lifetimes of karmic dust leaving your body like wisps of smoke, dissolving into the vast sky of spirit. Do this again, inhaling divine light into your chest, exhaling every chain of sorrow, fear, and ignorance. The more you breathe this way, the more you feel that the weight of centuries is falling away from your shoulders, leaving you light, luminous, almost bodiless. Bring your hands softly to your heart and whisper inwardly, Beloved Divine Mother, beloved Father of creation, I am thine. Burn in me all that is not of thee. Let this prayer vibrate in every cell until you feel warmth rising through your spine, a living current of sacred fire kindled by your own surrender. You are now no longer a mortal whispering toward heaven. You are a soul opening its gates for heaven to descend. When the body is still, when the breath is calm, when the mind has bowed in humility and longing, the mantra is no longer a sound, it is a living power. At that moment, beloved, when your heart trembles with love and your spirit leans wholly toward God, you may speak the sacred utterance, not as a seeker begging for release, but as an eternal child of spirit commanding the universe with the authority of divine remembrance. In this readiness, feel as though your spine has become a sacred altar, your breath a priest, and your very soul a flame rising to meet the eternal. Only now, in this holy silence, can the word you are about to speak burn away the invisible threads that have bound you across lifetimes. Beloved soul, as the stillness deepens and divine readiness envelops you, imagine now that you are seated not in a room of earth but in the boundless temple of spirit. Around you there is no darkness, only a golden radiance, as though the very air is woven of light. Above your head, you sense an infinite expanse, a heavenly canopy glowing with the presence of God. Beneath you, the ground no longer feels solid but instead vibrates with living energy rising up through your spine. You are no longer bound by time, no longer a prisoner of mortal identity. You are the eternal traveler standing at the doorway of freedom. In this exalted state, whisper inwardly with profound sincerity, I am not the past, I am not my mistakes, I am eternal spirit, free forever in God. Repeat this silently, allowing every word to echo through your being, not as a thought but as a direct realization. Feel as if unseen hands of divine light are reaching into your soul, gathering all the heavy stones of karma that have clung to you through countless lives. One by one, these stones are lifted, dissolved, and cast into the blazing fire of spirit, never to return. Now, beloved, speak the sacred mantra softly but with unwavering conviction. Lord, burn away every chain of ignorance. Reveal in me thy pure light. As these words vibrate within you, envision a brilliant flame igniting at the base of your spine, rising upward like a golden river of fire. It moves through every center of your being, cleansing, purifying, transforming. Old impressions stored in your astral body are illuminated, turned to light, and released into infinity. This fire moves upward to the point between your eyebrows, where it bursts like a radiant sun, filling your entire consciousness with divine brilliance. Sit in this light. Breathe as though every inhalation draws in cosmic joy, and every exhalation sends out waves of blessing to all souls who journey with you through time. In this moment, no past karma exists, for the very seeds of bondage have been burned away in the flame of God's love. You have not merely spoken words, you have awakened the eternal word, the living vibration of spirit that dissolves every shadow of delusion. Rest now, beloved, in the silent aftermath of this inner fire. Feel the vastness of your soul, unshackled and luminous, rising into divine remembrance. Know that what has been released will not return, for in sincere communion with the infinite, karma has no place to cling. From this day forward, you walk not as one bound to a past of sorrow, but as a free child of the eternal, glowing with the light of divine victory. Beloved, as you sit in this radiant silence, feel how different the world now appears within you. The same thoughts that once troubled your mind feel faint and powerless. Old fears, lingering regrets, and the weight of unseen burdens have melted like snow beneath the spring sun. This is not imagination. This is the natural state of the soul once its karmic chains are consumed by divine fire. You have touched, even if for a moment, the unshakable freedom that has always been your true nature. Yet know this well, while one moment of deep sincerity can burn away mountains of karma, your task now is to remain anchored in this newfound freedom. Just as a garden, once cleared of weeds, must still be tended to prevent them from returning, so too must the soul, once purified, nurture divine awareness daily to avoid sowing new karmic seeds. Freedom is not a single act. It is a continual alignment with spirit. Each morning as you awaken, remember the sacred words you have spoken in this meditation. Whisper them softly with gratitude. Lord, burn away every chain of ignorance. Reveal in me thy pure light, not as a plea, but as a declaration of your eternal truth. Feel the same golden flame rising anew within you, keeping your inner temple bright and untainted. Throughout your day, when you encounter trials or temptations, do not see them as punishments but as opportunities to affirm your freedom. When anger arises, answer with calmness. When fear whispers, answer with faith. When old habits try to return, answer with the inner fire you have kindled. Each such response prevents new karmic threads from being woven into your destiny. And beloved, make meditation the cornerstone of your life. It is through deep stillness that the soul continually bathes in divine light, washing away the dust of daily living. In the quiet sanctuary of meditation, you draw closer to God, and in that divine presence, karma cannot survive. The more you dwell in spirit, the less the vibrations of past actions can touch you, until at last you stand utterly free, a blazing star in the cosmic heavens of liberation. Know this with certainty. Having invoked the sacred utterance with devotion, you have already begun the journey of complete karmic dissolution. Even now, divine grace is working within and around you, reshaping unseen threads of destiny, releasing you from burdens you may never even have known you carried. Trust in this process, beloved, and walk forward with the serene joy of one who knows that nothing from the past can bind the eternal soul that lives as God's own light. Beloved soul, as you walk forward from this moment of purification, understand that the dissolving of karma is not only for your own liberation, but also a silent blessing that ripples outward to touch all who are connected to you. Karma is rarely individual. It is interwoven like threads in a vast tapestry of souls, family, friends, even those who once seemed like adversaries. When your soul is lifted into divine light, invisible threads that once bound others to cycles of sorrow begin to loosen as well. Imagine standing at the center of a great web, where every action and thought has been like a drop of dew, weighing down the silken strands. As you have called upon the divine fire and burned away these karmic seeds, not only do you rise into light, but the entire web begins to shimmer, lighter and freer. Your ancestors, your descendants, and those bound to you across lifetimes feel, in subtle ways, the glow of your transformation. This is the hidden mercy of God. One soul's awakening uplifts countless others. This is why the masters of every age have said that to free yourself spiritually is the highest gift you can offer to humanity. Saints and sages are not only freed themselves, but carry entire legions of souls upward through their realization. Even now, as you sit here immersed in the lingering radiance of God's presence, the souls of those you have loved, whether in this life or beyond, are feeling a breeze of divine grace touch them, a breath of freedom carried on the wings of your own awakening. Do not underestimate this silent influence. When you walk through your home, when you speak to others, when you share even a glance or a smile, let it flow from the light you have ignited here. You need not preach or explain. Your vibration alone will speak, carrying divine comfort and awakening wherever it goes. Like incense filling a room without words or effort, your presence, purified by the mantra of liberation, will transform unseen energies in your surroundings. And beloved, as you continue in this practice, saying these sacred words with devotion not once but making them part of your daily inner communion, the karmic fire grows brighter. Gradually, you will find that even the deepest patterns, lifelong struggles, fears that seemed immovable, recurring sorrows begin to vanish as though they were only faint shadows before the dawn. Each repetition is not a ritual. It is another step upward on the ladder of divine freedom, another wave of blessing flowing outward to all beings connected to your soul's journey. Now, rest once more in silence, feeling not just your own release but the collective lifting of countless souls, as the karmic bonds that once tied you together are transmuted into radiant threads of divine light. Beloved, as the inner light grows stronger and your karmic burdens are lifted into the divine flame, a new clarity begins to awaken within your consciousness. You will notice that the same outer world now feels subtly transformed. Situations that once triggered fear or resentment will no longer hold the same power over you. Relationships that seem bound by old wounds will feel lighter, freer, as though an unseen veil has been lifted. This is not imagination, it is the natural effect of karma being dissolved at its root. In this elevated state, you begin to sense the silent guidance of spirit more vividly than before. Intuitions arise like golden arrows of wisdom, pointing you toward harmony and away from unseen snares of suffering. Where once you felt compelled by habit or past conditioning, you now feel the quiet strength to choose differently. This freedom of choice, untouched by karmic weight, is the dawn of true spiritual mastery. Beloved, the divine mantra you have spoken is more than a prayer, it is a sacred key that unlocks the higher chambers of your being. It opens doors in your astral spine, allowing the holy current of God's energy to flow unobstructed through you. As this current rises, it carries with it every shadow of past mistakes, every echo of sorrow, and offers them to the eternal fire of divine remembrance. In its place, waves of bliss begin to wash over you, lifting your soul closer to its original, unblemished state. From this place of grace, your relationship with the world transforms. You begin to see every soul not as an adversary or companion shaped by lifetimes of tangled karma, but as radiant sparks of the same divine flame. Compassion blossoms naturally, effortlessly. Forgiveness flows like a river through your heart, not because you force it, but because you see through the illusion of separation that karma once sustained. And as this vision deepens, miracles unfold quietly, yet unmistakably. Doors that once seemed forever closed will open. Burdens that felt immovable will dissolve without struggle. Even the body's very cells begin to resonate with higher vibrations of light, as though each one remembers its true, divine origin. This is the miracle of burned karma. It does not merely change your destiny, yet restores your soul's eternal harmony with God. Now, beloved, feel this harmony filling your heart as a golden radiance. Let it spread through your mind, your breath, your very being, until you know without doubt that your soul is free, untouched by past shadows, ready to live fully in divine alignment. From this state, you are no longer the seeker weighed down by invisible chains. You are the liberated one, walking the earth as a living channel of God's eternal light. Beloved soul, as this light of freedom continues to expand within you, let us now understand the deeper mystery of why this sacred process works with such divine precision. Karma, as you have seen, is vibrational law. It is not imposed by an external judge, but is woven into the very fabric of your consciousness. Every action, every thought, every subtle desire leaves a ripple in the astral and causal sheaths of your soul, storing impressions that silently shape future experiences. These impressions, though unseen, bind you to the wheel of birth and rebirth, ensuring that lessons remain until they are learned in full awareness. When you spoke the sacred words with devotion and opened yourself to God's purifying flame, you did more than pray for forgiveness. You invited the infinite to enter your very vibration, to realign the subtle energy patterns that have bound you across lifetimes. This is not metaphorical, it is a living spiritual science. As divine sound and intention flow through your spine and mind, the dormant seeds of karma hidden within your astral body are incinerated by the higher frequency of Spirit's presence. Imagine a field of countless seeds lying in the dark soil of time. Some are seeds of joy, others of sorrow, many yet to sprout into the lessons of future incarnations. Ordinary life can only water these seeds or let them sleep, but divine fire burns them before they can take root. This is why saints, having entered perfect communion with God, are free from the compulsion of future births. The field of their consciousness has been cleared. Nothing remains to draw them back to suffering or limitation. Beloved, you too have begun this sacred clearing. The moment you surrendered, the moment you spoke not just with your lips but with every fiber of your being, the holy vibration of Spirit began reshaping your destiny. Though some outer circumstances may still unfold as remnants of already sprouted karma, their power over your soul is broken. Like arrows already released from the bow, they may still pass through your life, but they cannot wound the deeper essence of who you are. And as you continue to live in this remembrance, returning each day to the sacred mantra, your consciousness will rise above even the remnants of old karmic threads. What once would have caused deep suffering will pass over you like shadows on a sunlit wall, seen but powerless. In this way, you are not merely changing your future, you are awakening to the timeless freedom that has always been your true state. Rest now in this realization. Feel that every layer of your being is glowing brighter, vibrating higher, ascending closer to God's own frequency of infinite love. You are no longer bound to the old story of lifetimes past. You are stepping into the eternal song of liberation, where karma is not only burned but transcended in the radiant embrace of the divine. Beloved soul, pause and consider for a moment the possibility that the burdens you carry, the fears that linger in your chest, the sorrows that seem older than your years, the repeating struggles of your family are not merely your own private pains, but the echoes of voices long past, reverberations of ancestors whose unfinished lessons now press themselves upon you. Look honestly at your lineage. Perhaps there are patterns of poverty that return generation after generation, perhaps illnesses that stalk the family tree like shadows clinging to every branch, perhaps cycles of broken relationships, addictions, or grief that refuse to release their grip. You may feel at times as though you were born into a story already written, carrying a heavy backpack filled not only with your own stones, but also with the stones of those who walk before you. Yet I tell you, beloved, this weight is not your destiny. The chains that bind families across generations are not eternal iron, they are threads of vibration, woven by thought and action, and like threads, they can be dissolved in the fire of divine remembrance. Yogananda revealed that karma flows like a river, and souls are drawn into families where their lessons can be played out, but no river is fixed in its course. With the touch of spirit, the current can be redirected, the waters purified, the debris cleared away. And sometimes, one awakened soul within the family is chosen to stand at the banks and change the direction of the stream, not only for themselves, but for all who are carried within its flow. This, beloved, may be you. Perhaps you feel burdened not because you are cursed, but because you have been called. You are the one in your lineage, strong enough, awake enough, to turn to God with sincerity and to burn in His flame the shadows that have lingered for centuries. Do not despair when you feel the heaviness of your ancestry pressing upon you. Rejoice, for the divine has entrusted you with the torch of liberation. Every night, as you whisper sacred words charged with faith, you are not only soothing your own soul, you are sending ripples of light backward to heal the past and forward to bless the future. So I summon you. Do not carry these stones any longer as though they were immovable. Place them now upon the altar of God's fire and watch as they are dissolved. Darkness, no matter how ancient, cannot withstand the presence of light. Karma, no matter how deeply rooted, cannot resist the purifying flame of spirit. What has bound generations can be released in an instant when one child of God stands and whispers, "Enough. Let the chain be broken. Let my family be free." That whisper, though soft, carries the force of eternity, for it is joined with the will of the infinite. This is the sacred summons. To rise, to speak, to burn away not only your own shadows but the shadows of generations, and to walk at last as a bearer of light for all your lineage. Beloved soul, to understand why the whisper of truth and devotion has the power to dissolve the burdens of ancestry, you must first see clearly how karma flows, how it weaves itself through the tapestry of families. Karma is not a mystical punishment imposed from without. It is vibration impressed upon the subtle fabric of consciousness. Every thought, every word, every action releases energy. And that energy does not vanish, it leaves an imprint, a seed, a resonance that shapes the future. Just as the sound of a bell continues to echo long after the hammer has struck, so too do the vibrations of our deeds and desires reverberate across time, creating harmonies and dissonances that ripple through generations. Families are not accidents. Souls are drawn together by shared lessons, shared debts, and shared blessings. Yogananda explained that reincarnation places you in the very soil where the karmic seeds you carry can sprout, whether those seeds are of joy or of sorrow, of strength or of weakness. This is why you may notice patterns repeating in the lives of your relatives, cycles of sickness, tendencies toward addiction, repeating forms of poverty or betrayal. It is not that fate mocks you, but that the karmic river has not yet been purified. Picture a great stream flowing from one generation to the next. Sometimes it carries clear water, reflecting the sun, nourishing all life along its banks. But at other times, debris accumulates, pollution of selfish actions, toxins of unresolved anger, sediments of fear and ignorance, and so the stream grows murky. Every child who drinks from it inherits the taste, and unless someone purifies the river, the murk passes endlessly downstream. But here is the divine law. Karma is vibration, and vibration can be changed. Just as a dissonant note in music can be resolved when harmony is struck, so too can ancestral vibrations be uplifted when one soul introduces the higher vibration of remembrance. Imagine a candle flame pass from parent to child. If the flame is bright, each generation carries light. But if the flame is weak or shadowed, then the children inherit dimness. Yet when even one descendant kindles a torch of devotion, that brightness illuminates backward and forward, transforming not only their own life, but the shared flame of the entire lineage. Yogananda assured his disciples that the spiritual efforts of one can uplift many, that the prayers, meditations, and affirmations of a single devoted heart ripple outward to bless countless souls, known and unknown. Therefore, beloved, do not believe that family karma is a prison without key. It is a current, and currents can be redirected. It is a vibration, and vibrations can be tuned. Just as a single tuning fork can cause an entire room of strings to resonate in harmony, so can your nightly whisper set into motion a resonance that purifies the karmic echoes of your family. When you whisper with faith, your words travel beyond your own ears. They sink into your subconscious, where karmic seeds lie dormant. They radiate into the astral realm, where ancestors linger. They project into the stream of vibration that future descendants will inherit. The moment you align with God, you introduce divine fire into that river, and in that fire, generations of shadows can be burned away. This is the law of spiritual action. What is spoken with faith becomes vibration. What is vibrated reshapes consciousness, and what is reshaped alters destiny. Karma passes through families like a river, but you, beloved, are the one who can stand at the banks and pour in light until the waters run clear again. Beloved one, before you attempt to whisper the sacred words that carry the force to burn the karma of generations, you must first learn to prepare the vessel of the mind, for a restless or scattered mind cannot hold the power of divine vibration. Think of the mind as a river. When it runs wild, swollen with torrents of thought, its waters are muddied, turbulent, and unreflective. Nothing clear can be seen in its surface, and anything cast upon it is carried away, broken into fragments by the current. But when the current is stilled, when the waters grow calm, the river becomes like a mirror, reflecting the sun, the moon, the stars. So it is with your mind. Until you still it, the light of truth cannot be reflected clearly, and the whisper of liberation will be but a sound carried away by the storm of your own thoughts. Yogananda taught again and again that breath and mind are bound together as twins. Restless breath sustains restless thought, while calm breath dissolves the ceaseless spinning of the mental wheel. Therefore, the first act of obedience in this sacred practice is to command your breath into stillness. Before you whisper, pause, sit upright with dignity, close your eyes, and begin to draw slow, measured breaths. Inhale deeply, as though drawing in divine peace. Exhale fully, as though releasing centuries of inherited burdens. With each breath, feel the turbulence quieting, the sediment of restless thoughts sinking to the bottom, until your mind becomes a clear pool, receptive and open. Then, with your breath steady, turn your gaze upward, not with your physical eyes, but with the subtle attention of your inner sight. Lift your awareness gently to the point between the eyebrows, the seat of spiritual vision, the doorway of the Christ consciousness that Yogananda called the spiritual eye. Do not strain, but let your gaze rest there, like a bird upon its nest. This single act of concentration gathers the scattered rays of your attention. Instead of leaking outward into 1,000 distractions, the power of your mind becomes a single beam, like sunlight focused through a lens, capable of igniting fire. And this is what you must be: a lens, clear and focused, ready to direct divine fire into the stream of ancestral karma that flows through you. Beloved, take this training seriously. Many speak sacred words with minds wandering, distracted, or dulled by weariness, and then they wonder why their prayers seem unanswered. It is not that God withholds His grace. It is that the vessel into which grace is poured is unsteady, spilling the nectar before it can be drunk. Still the vessel, and it will hold. Still the mind, and the whisper will take root. In time, this preparation itself will become natural. Your breath will know how to find calm. Your gaze will rise instinctively. Your thoughts will surrender to the stillness. But until then, you must practice each night with obedience and humility, remembering that the strength of the whisper lies not only in its words, but in the condition of the mind that speaks them. Prepare, beloved one, as the farmer prepares his field before planting, clearing stones, tilling soil, watering ground, so that when the seed is dropped, it germinates swiftly. Prepare your mind likewise. Calm the breath, lift the gaze, gather your focus, and let the soil of your awareness become rich and receptive. Then the whisper you are about to learn will fall not on barren ground, but in fertile silence, where it can germinate, blossom, and grow into a light strong enough to burn away the shadows of centuries. Beloved soul, even if the mind has been calmed, even if the breath has been steadied and the gaze uplifted, the words you will soon whisper cannot pierce the karmic shadows unless they are carried upon the current of devotion. For the mind may learn to concentrate, but it is the heart that ignites. Without love, prayer becomes sound alone. Without longing, affirmation becomes a lifeless recitation. Yogananda taught that the power of any mantra, prayer, or whisper lies not merely in the syllables, but in the soul force that is poured into it. If the heart is dry, the flame does not catch. If the heart is open, even a single whisper becomes a conflagration of light, capable of burning karmic seeds that have lain hidden for centuries. Therefore, before you attempt the sacred words, prepare the heart, sit in quietness, and bring to mind your ancestors, not only those who suffered, but those who strove, who longed, who carried burdens heavier than yours. See their faces, some known, some unknown. Recognize that their mistakes, their wounds, their fears may live within you as patterns, but also that their prayers, their hopes, and their unfinished love flow through you as well. Let gratitude rise, not blame. Let compassion awaken, not resentment. Whisper within, I thank you for the life you gave me, and I free you from your sorrows. As you say this inwardly, your heart softens, and love begins to flow. Next, turn your love toward those who will come after you, your children, your grandchildren, or even souls not yet born but destined to walk the path you have walked. Feel the responsibility and the gift. By purifying yourself, you purify them. By whispering in love each night, you pass to them a torch instead of a chain. Say inwardly, may those who come after me inherit only light, never shadow. In this prayer, compassion deepens, for you are not practicing for yourself alone, but for the whole current of your lineage. This is the oil of devotion. Without it, the lamp of your whisper will sputter and die out, but with it, the flame will burn steady and strong. Imagine a lamp filled with oil, wick trimmed, flame lit. Its light does not flicker wildly but shines, steady enough to illumine the whole house. So too with your heart. Fill it with gratitude, compassion, and longing for God, and the whisper you speak will glow with force, will radiate beyond your lips, will reach even into the astral planes where ancestors dwell, burning away shadows with its fire. Beloved, this is why Yogananda called for devotion above all. He said that one prayer uttered with deep feeling outweighs 1,000 repetitions said mechanically. So do not rush through this preparation. Do not whisper the sacred words as a duty or ritual. Instead, pause until you feel the flame kindling in your chest, however small. A spark is enough, for once the words touch it, the spark will grow into fire. And with that fire, you will not only whisper, you will command. You will call upon the infinite, and the infinite will answer. And in that answering, generations will be freed. Beloved one, now that your mind has been stilled like a clear river, and your heart filled with the oil of devotion, you are prepared to receive the secret that Yogananda gave. A sacred whisper so simple in form, yet so vast in consequence, that it carries within it the power to alter not only your destiny, but the destiny of your entire lineage. For words, when aligned with divine vibration, are not mere human utterances, they become keys that unlock hidden doors, flames that ignite forgotten chambers, lightning bolts that burn away the accumulations of centuries. The whisper I now reveal to you is not meant to be shouted to the world, but to be carried tenderly into the silence of your nightly prayer, to be spoken with the humility of a child and the authority of a soul, remembering its oneness with God. The words are these: Through thy light, Lord, I release my family into freedom. Let all past shadows be burned in thy eternal flame. Let these words roll through your being like thunder, soft enough to comfort, strong enough to shake the roots of bondage. When you say, through thy light, Lord, you immediately shift the burden from your limited strength to the infinite power of God. You are not attempting to burn karma with your small will, for that would be like striking a match against a mountain of stone. Instead, you invoke the cosmic fire, the living radiance of the divine, which alone has the power to dissolve karmic seeds at their root. Then you continue, I release my family into freedom. Here you break the unconscious chains of ownership and identification. You are not clutching your lineage with pride or blame, you are offering it, releasing it, surrendering it into the hands of spirit, so that all who are bound may be loosed. And finally, let all past shadows be burned in thy eternal flame. These words are not metaphor, they are invocation. For as surely as fire consumes dry wood, divine remembrance consumes karma. Darkness may have lingered for generations, but when divine light enters, it does not argue with the shadow, it does not struggle, it annihilates instantly, for shadow has no substance before the sun. Imagine walking into a cave sealed for centuries. Its darkness is thick, oppressive, suffocating. Yet the instant you strike a torch, the centuries flee in a single moment, for they were never real substance, only absence. So too with this whisper. The moment you say it with faith, the absence of light is filled with light and the karmic cobwebs dissolve like mist in dawn. Beloved soul, do not underestimate the simplicity of this whisper. The ego seeks complexity, but the heart of God responds to sincerity. These few words, when uttered nightly with devotion, carry the vibration of surrender, of love, of faith, of remembrance. They touch not only your soul but the collective vibration of your family, both seen and unseen, those on earth and those who dwell now in subtler realms. With this whisper, you invite them all into freedom. With this whisper, you strike the match that lights a torch strong enough to illuminate the corridors of generations. With this whisper, you fulfill the sacred calling of being the one chosen to break the chain. Beloved one, having received the sacred words, you must now learn how to carry them into practice, for the way they are spoken determines the depth to which they penetrate the layers of consciousness. A careless whisper, spoken with a distracted mind, will scarcely brush the surface of the heart, but a whisper carried upon the breath of devotion, guided by concentration, will pierce into the roots of karma and release currents that ripple through generations. Yogananda often said that the way you pray is as important as the words you use. For prayer is vibration, and vibration depends upon the quality of your attention, your feeling, and your will. Therefore, let me show you step by step how to whisper this decree so that it is not mere sound but living fire. First, whisper the words aloud softly 3 times. Let the breath carry them gently into the space around you, as though you were wrapping your very room in light. Speak as if conversing with God sitting invisibly beside you, not in thunder but in intimacy. The whisper must be audible enough that your ears hear it, for when the words enter through sound, they carve grooves into your conscious mind. Imagine yourself planting seeds. With each audible whisper, you place one seed into the soil of awareness, pressing it gently, covering it with faith. 3 times you do this, for the triad anchors vibration firmly in the body, the voice, the breath, the nerves themselves are attuned. Then whisper the words inwardly 3 times into the heart. Here you no longer move the lips, but let the whisper ride the current of feeling. Feel as though your heart itself is speaking, as though each beat utters, "Through thy light, Lord, I release my family into freedom. Let all past shadows be burned in thy eternal flame." This stage imprints the affirmation upon the emotional body, upon the subconscious currents that carry so much inherited weight. Each inner whisper is like a drop of oil poured into the lamp of devotion, fueling the flame until it grows steadier. 3 times again, for repetition deepens the groove, engraving the truth upon the heart's hidden walls. Finally, whisper the words silently at the spiritual eye 3 times. Here there is no sound, no movement, only concentrated thought united with will and devotion. Fix your awareness at the point between the eyebrows, the doorway into superconscious perception, and let the words be like lightning written across the sky of your inner vision. Whisper without sound, and yet feel that all creation hears it. In this way, the affirmation is carried into the soul itself, into the superconscious, where karmic seeds are stored in their deepest form. 3 silent whispers strike 3 blows upon the chains, until at last they shatter and fall away. Why 3 times in each way? Because the body, the heart, and the soul are the 3 instruments through which karma is played. The body carries ancestral imprints in its very cells. The heart carries them as emotional tendencies, and the soul carries them as vibrational seeds. By whispering aloud, you cleanse the body. By whispering inwardly, you cleanse the heart. By whispering silently at the spiritual eye, you cleanse the soul. This is why Yogananda insisted upon triple repetition, for each strike is like a hammer falling upon a chain. Once may dent it, twice may weaken it, but thrice will break it completely. Beloved, Practice this method faithfully each night. Do not rush. Take time for the audible whisper, the inward whisper, the silent whisper. Feel each layer of yourself aligning with light. Imagine the chains falling link by link. See the torch of divine fire sweeping through ancestral corridors, burning cobwebs, illuminating rooms long forgotten. And when you finish, rest in silence, letting the vibration continue, for though your whisper ends, the resonance lingers, working through the night in realms unseen. This is how you whisper, not as ritual, but as liberation. Beloved soul, the time of night holds a sacred power, and Yogananda often reminded his disciples that the last thought before sleep is of profound importance, for it seeps into the subconscious, it weaves itself into the tapestry of dreams, and it guides the soul's journey in the astral realms while the body rests. Just as the farmer knows that the seeds planted in the evening will sprout with the coming dawn, so too must you know that the whispers you plant in the fertile silence of night will bear fruit in both your own life and in the unseen life of your lineage. This is why the practice of whispering these words before sleep is not optional but essential. It is the very act that allows the fire of spirit to continue burning through the hours when your conscious mind has surrendered control. When you are ready to sleep, do not collapse into bed as though unconsciousness were the end of the day. Instead, sit for a few moments in stillness, spine upright, breath steady, gaze softly uplifted. Let the concerns of the day fall from you like garments that are no longer needed. If your mind is restless, breathe 3 times slowly and deeply, with each exhalation releasing tension, releasing worry, releasing the residue of thoughts that cling to the edges of awareness. Prepare yourself as you would prepare an offering at an altar, for your sleep is an altar, and what you place upon it will determine the fragrance of your dreams and the quality of your awakening. Then, whisper the sacred words exactly as you have been taught aloud, inwardly and silently. Speak them with reverence, as if you were signing your name at the end of a letter addressed to the divine. For indeed, that is what you are doing, sealing a message and entrusting it into the hands of spirit to be carried through the night. The whisper is your signature of surrender, your seal of light upon the door of your consciousness. And as the body sinks into rest, the vibration of those words continues to resonate, moving through the hidden corridors of your being, traveling into ancestral streams, burning away shadows even while you sleep. Think of this practice as sealing a letter before it is placed in the post. Without the seal, the letter may spill open, its contents lost. But with the seal, its message arrives intact, carried surely to its destination. So too with your whisper. It seals your consciousness, ensuring that as you enter the astral realm, your soul carries with it not the burdens of worry, not the impressions of daily restlessness, but the vibration of divine fire, the remembrance of freedom. This becomes the current in which your astral body swims, and it is through this current that karma is dissolved, that ancestors are lifted, that the chains of lineage are weakened and burned. Beloved one, never neglect this nightly practice. Make it as natural as brushing your teeth, as consistent as closing your eyes. Even when weary, even when troubled, whisper it still. For one sincere whisper before sleep is worth more than 1,000 restless thoughts carried into the night. And as you repeat this practice faithfully, you will notice a shift. Your dreams will grow lighter, your awakenings more radiant, your burdens less heavy. You will sense that something unseen is being lifted, that the river of your lineage is being purified. And you will know that your nightly whisper has become not a small act but a mighty current of liberation, flowing backward into the past and forward into the future. Beloved soul, the whisper is not meant for your freedom alone. In the law of spirit, nothing done in truth and devotion remains confined to the individual. Its vibration ripples outward, touching all who are bound to you by ties of love, memory, or destiny. When you whisper each night, you must not limit its scope to the circle of your own struggles. You must widen your heart until it embraces your ancestors and your descendants. For the chain of karma is a collective bond, and its breaking is a collective liberation. Yogananda often said that the sincere prayer of one devoted heart uplifts 7 generations before and 7 generations to come. This is not metaphor but vibration, for in the subtle realms, the soul is not an isolated island but part of a vast ocean of shared currents. Therefore, when you whisper, pause after speaking for yourself and visualize the faces of those who came before you. Some you will know, parents, grandparents, family whose struggles shaped the very contours of your own life. Others you will not know, their names lost to history, but their energy still alive within your blood, their longing still echoing in the chambers of your soul. See them gathered like a great assembly, not with eyes of flesh, but with the vision of love. And as you whisper, imagine a radiant light flowing outward from your heart into theirs, as though you were carrying a torch into a darkened hall where generations wait. With each word, the torch burns brighter, illuminating their faces, dissolving their sorrows, releasing their chains. Then extend the same vision forward to those yet unborn. Think of your children if you have them, or of children yet to come, of grandchildren and great-grandchildren who may walk this earth long after your body has returned to dust. Know that your whisper plants seeds in their destiny, that your devotion sows light they will one day inherit. See them bathed in the same flame, walking not in the heavy patterns of past shadows but in the radiant paths of freedom you are opening for them. In this way, your whisper becomes not only a release for yourself but a blessing that flows in both directions, backward to heal, forward to bless. Picture one candle lit in the darkness. If it remains alone, its glow is small. But when it touches another candle, and that candle touches another, the room begins to blaze until the darkness is no more. And notice this, the first candle does not lose its flame when it lights another. It grows brighter, for the joy of giving is fuel to its fire. So too your whisper. As you give its light to others, you do not diminish your own liberation, you magnify it. You become a channel through which the divine flows more abundantly, for Spirit loves to use the open heart as a vessel of blessing. Beloved, do not think of this as imagination alone. In the subtle astral worlds, thought is substance, vision is reality, love is energy. When you visualize ancestors and descendants bathed in light, you are not creating fantasy, you are transmitting vibration. And that vibration is felt, received, and transformative. In this way, your whisper ceases to be a personal act and becomes a family rite of freedom, a collective offering to the eternal flame. Do this each night, and one day you will feel in the silence after your whisper a chorus of gratitude rising from those who have been set free by your devotion. Beloved one, to strengthen your faith and to encourage you in this sacred discipline, let me share with you stories of transformation that reveal the power of a single soul's nightly devotion. For though the whisper may feel small upon your lips, like a fragile flame in the palm of your hand, do not be deceived, it carries a force greater than you can measure, a current of divine fire that can alter destinies and cleanse karmic streams flowing for centuries. Yogananda taught that the prayer of a true devotee not only uplifts his own consciousness, but radiates outward, blessing countless others. He told his disciples that the light kindled by one soul can illuminate 7 generations past and 7 generations to come. This was not an exaggeration, but a declaration of the law of vibration. There was once a seeker who came to Yogananda, burdened by a deep heaviness that did not seem to belong to her alone. She confessed, "Master, even in moments of peace, I feel grief pressing on me, as if my heart is carrying sorrows too ancient to name." Yogananda looked at her with eyes of compassion and said, "These are not only your own burdens, they are the echoes of those who came before you. But you are the one chosen to release them." He gave her a simple practice, each night, before sleep, to whisper words of release, surrendering her family line into God's flame. She obeyed, and at first, it seemed little changed. But after some weeks, she noticed that her dreams grew lighter, her heart less heavy. Then, her relationships with family members, long strained and filled with unspoken resentment, began to soften. One night she dreamt of her grandmother, long departed, appearing radiant, thanking her for the prayers. She awoke in tears, knowing that chains had been broken, that love now flowed freely where it had once been blocked. Another man, burdened by generations of poverty and misfortune, felt as though his family could never escape hardship. He too was taught the whisper, and with sincerity, he practiced it each night. Over time, not only did his own consciousness shift, replacing despair with quiet strength, but opportunities seemed to arise that had never before appeared. His children grew up without the same scarcity mindset that had plagued his ancestors. When asked about it later, he said simply, "The whisper opened a door I did not know was there." Through his devotion, the flow of karma that had bent toward lack was redirected toward abundance, not of mere wealth, but of peace, faith, and confidence. Beloved soul, think of this practice as watering the root of a great vine that has grown weak through generations. If the root is dry, the entire plant wilts, its leaves droop, its fruit fails. But if even one gardener pours water at the base, the life force rises, the vine revives, the leaves turn green, and even the branches that had seemed lifeless begin to bloom again. Your whisper each night is such a watering. It nourishes the root of your family tree, drawing divine life upward, reviving what had been wilted by time and error, restoring vitality not only to yourself but to every branch connected to you. Take courage from these stories, beloved. They are not rare exceptions, but living proof of the law that spirit responds when the soul calls with devotion. What has been healed for others can and will be healed for you. Trust the whisper, trust the fire, trust the light that burns more fiercely than any shadow. One day, those who come after you will thank you silently, walking paths free of the chains you once bore, living in the light you call down for them each night. Beloved one, by now you can see that this whisper is more than a prayer. It is a torch placed in your hand, a torch that illuminates not only your own way, but also the darkened paths of those bound to you by love and blood. To carry this torch is not a burden, but a sacred privilege, for Spirit has chosen you as the flame bearer in your lineage, the one through whom the old chains will be shattered, the one through whom a new current of freedom will flow. You are not called to break karma by the weight of your own effort, for no human will can untie knots woven across centuries. You are called instead to remember, to surrender, to invoke the fire that alone has the strength to consume those knots in an instant. You are called to live as a flame bearer, not in arrogance but in humility, not in pride but in deep gratitude that God entrusted you with this holy task. As you take up this role, you must learn to affirm it, not only in whispered words before sleep but in the very rhythm of your days. Yogananda often urged his disciples to anchor truth in affirmations, for what you declare with faith becomes the vibration in which you live. Therefore, let this loop of affirmations become the anthem of your soul. I am the flame of freedom. My family is bathed in God's light. The chain of karma is broken forever. Speak them when you wake in the morning to set the current of your day. Speak them when fear or doubt arises, to remind yourself of the truth. Speak them when you think of your family, whether in love or in pain, to consecrate those thoughts in light. Each time you affirm, you add fuel to the fire, and each time the fire grows stronger, burning away shadows both seen and unseen. Think of the prisoner who for years has believed the cell door to be locked, pacing back and forth, despairing at the iron bars. Generations before him walked the same narrow path, believing the same lie, handing down the same despair. Yet one day, the prisoner reaches to the door with new awareness, and to his astonishment, it swings open. The key had always been within his pocket. So too with family karma. The prison feels real, the bars feel solid, yet in truth the key has always been within you. The whisper is that key, the affirmation is the turning of it, and the fire of God's light is the opening of the door. Once you step through, you not only free yourself, you leave the door open for all who are bound by the same illusion. Beloved, live as the flame bearer. Carry the torch with steady hands, with reverent heart, with joy that radiates even in trial. Know that your nightly whisper is not hidden in silence, but resounds in eternity, echoing through generations past and generations to come. And remember always, you are not merely one who speaks of light, you are one who carries it, one who burns with it, one who becomes it. To live as the flame bearer is to live as a child of God, radiant and free, your very presence proclaiming to the world, the chain of karma is broken forever. Beloved one, as we come to the close of this journey, let us seal these teachings with the blessing of eternal remembrance. You have been shown that karma, though it appears heavy as iron and ancient as stone, is not eternal, it is vibration, and vibration can be lifted, transformed, burned in the fire of God's light. You have learned the sacred whisper. You have prepared the mind and the heart. You have practiced the art of releasing not only yourself, but the whole stream of your family into freedom. Now it is time to affirm once more, with the full force of your soul. Through God's light, my family is free now and forever. Speak it softly, but let your heart thunder with certainty. Whisper it aloud, then in the secret chamber of your chest, then silently at the spiritual eye until you feel the words are no longer yours but the decree of the eternal itself flowing through you. As you do, imagine the dawn breaking over an ancestral home long shrouded in darkness. See every window filled with golden light, every corridor illumined, every hidden room where shadows once lingered now radiant with morning. Visualize your ancestors standing within that home, some weary from their long journey, some bowed under old sorrows, but now all of them bathed in brilliance, their faces lifted, their eyes filled with peace. See also the children yet unborn, running through those same halls, laughing in the sunlight, unburdened by the weights that once bound your lineage. This is not imagination alone, beloved, but spiritual reality, for the soul's vision creates vibration, and vibration reshapes destiny. Take this vision into your heart each night as you whisper. Know that you are not merely one voice in the dark, but a torchbearer whose flame burns through generations. Your whisper carries backward to heal, forward to bless, and inward to sanctify. In this practice, you live as both priest and prophet of your family, offering them on the altar of God's flame and declaring that their freedom is already accomplished. Do not doubt this, for doubt is the last shadow that tries to cling. Instead, rest in trust, knowing that every word whispered in love is heard, received, and magnified in the great halls of spirit. And so, beloved one, I bless you now. May your lineage be free of shadows. May your nights be filled with light. May your heart carry always the certainty that God's flame burns brighter than any darkness. Walk in this assurance, whisper each night with devotion, and live as the living proof that karma, though it flows like a river, can be turned, can be purified, can be transformed into light. Carry this blessing not only for yourself, but for all who came before you and all who will follow you. For through God's light, your family is free now and forever. Beloved soul, there are hours in every life when shadows seem to gather thickly, when the path ahead feels dim, and when the heart, though longing for God, feels surrounded by silence. These are the hours when despair whispers, when confusion clouds the mind, when restlessness drains strength, when faith feels like a flickering candle struggling against the wind. How many of you in such moments have asked, "Why is God far from me? Why does the light not come?" And yet, beloved, the truth is that God has never withdrawn his light. Darkness is not his punishment. It is not an eternal force standing in defiance of his presence. Darkness is but absence, a shadow cast when the curtain of forgetfulness is drawn across the window of the soul. The Sun of Spirit shines eternally. Remove the veil, and light floods in. Yogananda, in his wisdom, reminded us that spiritual darkness is not an enemy with power of its own. It is the temporary covering of vision, the cloud that hides but cannot extinguish the radiance of the soul. To dwell in fear of darkness is to mistake the shadow for substance. Instead, you must learn the art of remembrance, the means by which a single act of consciousness can sweep aside the veil. Just as opening the curtain of a window instantly fills a room with sunlight, so too can one act of prayer, one vibration of affirmation, one sacred word bring God's light pouring into your being. Therefore, beloved, I summon you now to awaken to this truth. Your darkness is not eternal, nor is it undefeatable. You have within you the key to turn every shadow into light. That key is vibration, the sacred power of the word. Say this, and the light will come. Yogananda gave words, forgotten by many, that act as sparks in the cavern of despair, igniting flame where there was only cold. This is not a mystery for saints alone, but a gift for every soul who longs to be free. And so in this sacred journey, we will learn together not only what to say, but how to say it, how to charge it with the breath of devotion, how to wield it as a torch that no shadow can resist. Beloved one, do not think of your darkest hour as punishment. Think of it as invitation. For when the night presses most heavily upon you, heaven waits most eagerly to flood you with dawn. The words you will learn are the opening of that dawn, the lifting of the curtain, the striking of the match. Speak them with sincerity, and watch as the darkness that terrified you dissolves like mist in the rising sun. This is the summons, to rise from fear, to claim light, to remember who you are and who has always been with you. Beloved one, to understand why a simple phrase can transform the condition of the heart, you must first grasp the law of vibration upon which the universe rests. Yogananda taught that creation itself was spoken into being not with human syllables, but with the cosmic word, the primordial vibration of Aum. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. These are not poetic abstractions. They are spiritual science. Vibration is the root of all that is seen and unseen. Thought is vibration. Speech is vibration condensed into sound. And both carry power, for they shape the field of consciousness in which you live and move. Each word you utter sets into motion currents of energy. And those currents, when aligned with truth, carry you upward into light, but when bound to fear and doubt, draw you downward into shadows. Consider this. When you speak words of anger, notice how your body tenses, how your breath quickens, how the very room seems filled with heaviness. That is vibration manifesting in matter. Now recall the times when you have spoken words of love, of blessing, of peace, how your shoulders relaxed, how your breath deepened, how even others nearby felt uplifted. Words are not empty air. They are carriers of magnetic force. Just as a tuning fork, when struck, causes other strings of the same pitch to vibrate, so too do words charged with thought and feeling set into motion corresponding vibrations in the mind, body, and soul. Speak of fear long enough, and you live in fear. Speak of faith with sincerity, and faith grows strong within you. Yogananda urged his disciples to harness this law consciously. Affirmations, he explained, are not fantasies or self-deception, but concentrated prayers, thoughts clothed in words, charged with faith, released into the ethers, where they repattern the subconscious and attract divine power. When you speak with devotion, your words become more than your own. They become channels through which spirit flows. Darkness, being only absence, cannot resist vibration infused with light. A single candle can banish centuries of shadow in an instant, not by struggle but by presence. So too, one spoken word of truth can undo years of despair when charged with remembrance of God. Therefore, beloved, see how it is possible for words to turn darkness into light. It is not the syllables alone, but the vibration they carry, the faith they embody, the devotion they ignite. When you speak from the depths of your soul, you align yourself with the creative word that sustains galaxies, and that word responds, flooding your being with light. This is the law of spiritual action. As you vibrate, so you become. As you affirm, so you attract. As you speak in faith, so the infinite answers. And it is upon this eternal law that Yogananda's forgotten teaching rests, waiting now to be placed upon your lips. Beloved soul, before you wield the sacred words that scatter shadows, you must first prepare the vessel of your mind, for words without receptivity are like seeds cast upon stone. They may be true, they may be potent, but if the soil is not ready, they will not take root. Yogananda often explained that the mind, left restless and agitated, cannot hold the power of affirmation. Just as muddy water cannot reflect the sun until it is stilled, so too the mind, clouded with ceaseless thoughts, cannot mirror divine light until it learns calmness. Therefore, inner obedience is required, the discipline of quieting the storm within, so that the word may descend like a beam of light into the still depths of your awareness. How shall you prepare the mind? Begin with the breath, for breath and thought are bound together as twin currents. Observe yourself in moments of anxiety. The breath is shallow, hurried, uneven. In moments of peace, the breath is deep, rhythmic, serene. By calming the breath, you calm the waves of thought. Thus, when darkness presses upon you, first pause, close your eyes if possible, and breathe slowly. Inhale as though drawing in divine calmness. Exhale as though releasing the chaos of the day. With each cycle, feel the restlessness lessen, like ripples fading across a pond after a stone has been dropped. Continue until you sense stillness entering, until the endless chatter of thought quiets to a gentle hum. Then, lift your gaze not outward, but inward. Bring your attention to the point between the eyebrows, the spiritual eye, the seat of concentration and divine vision. Yogananda called this the doorway to the infinite. By gently focusing there, you align your awareness with the higher centers of perception. Do not strain, but simply allow your mind to rest at this point. As a bird rests upon its nest, the scattered energies of the mind begin to gather, like iron filings drawn to a magnet. In this focused state, Your consciousness is no longer dissipated outward into countless distractions. It becomes centered, poised, receptive. Beloved one, think of this preparation as tuning your instrument before playing. No matter how skillful the musician, if the strings are slack and disordered, the melody will be harsh. But if the strings are tightened and tuned, even the simplest note will ring true and beautiful. Your mind is the instrument. Your affirmation is the melody. Without tuning, the melody falls flat. With tuning, even a single whispered word carries the resonance of truth and penetrates the subconscious with power. Thus, never neglect this step. Prepare the mind with breath, with uplifted gaze, with inward stillness, until you feel as though your thoughts are no longer racing outward, but have settled like calm waters, waiting for the reflection of the sun. This is inner obedience, the humble preparation of the vessel to receive the word. For when the mind is calmed, when awareness is uplifted, the sacred phrase you will soon speak will not fall into noise, but into silence pregnant with possibility. And in that silence, the word will blossom as light. Beloved one, even when the mind has been calmed and focused like a clear mirror, the work is only half complete, for the words you are about to speak must be kindled not only by clarity of thought, but by the flame of the heart. A mind may recite truth endlessly, but without the warmth of devotion, without the oil of longing, the lamp remains unlit. Yogananda taught that words spoken from the intellect alone are like dry wood. They may be piled high, carefully arranged, but until the spark of love touches them, there is no fire. And light, true light, comes only when the fire burns. Therefore, prepare the vessel of your heart, for without love, even the most perfect affirmation remains hollow, an empty echo against the walls of the subconscious. How shall you prepare the heart? Begin by remembering that you are not speaking to an abstraction, nor to the cold emptiness of space. You are addressing the living presence that surrounds you, sustains you, and loves you with infinite tenderness. Let this thought awaken reverence within you. Close your eyes and feel as though you were standing in a great temple, not one built of stone, but the temple of your own soul. Feel the altar within your chest, the quiet flame of love flickering in the heart's core. As you breathe calmly, imagine that flame growing steadier, brighter, warmer. Whisper silently, "Lord, I long for thee. Beloved, I seek only thee." With each breath, let longing deepen, let surrender soften the edges of your being, until devotion itself becomes a current flowing upward, ready to charge every word you will speak. Yogananda would often say that a prayer without devotion is like a lamp without oil. It may have a wick, it may even produce a brief spark, but it cannot burn steadily. The oil is love, the fuel that sustains the flame. Therefore, before uttering the sacred affirmation, pour oil into your lamp. Offer your love, however imperfect it may feel. If you feel dryness, confess it to God. "Lord, I do not know how to love thee, but I want to love thee. Ignite my heart with thy fire." Even this honest longing becomes oil, for sincerity is itself a form of devotion. Picture this: a dark room, a lamp standing upon a table. Without oil, it is nothing more than a vessel. But once filled and lit, it transforms the entire space. Shadows retreat, warmth spreads, and those who enter feel comforted. So too with your heart. Without love, it is an empty vessel. With love, it becomes a torch that can banish shadows not only from your own soul, but from the souls of others. This is why preparation of the heart is as essential as preparation of the mind. The mind clears the space, the heart fills it with fire. Beloved soul, take time for this step. Do not rush. Before you speak the words that Yogananda entrusted, pause until you feel even the faintest stirring of tenderness, the smallest spark of longing. That spark is enough. For once the spark is offered sincerely, the divine breath fans it into flame. Then, when the affirmation is spoken, it is not merely you speaking, it is your heart in union with the eternal flame, igniting light where once only shadows dwelt. Beloved soul, now that your mind is calmed like a placid lake, now that your heart is filled with oil and flame of devotion, you are ready to receive the sacred words, the forgotten teaching that Yogananda whispered to his disciples, reminding them that darkness has no power before the presence of light. These words are not complicated, nor are they veiled in mystery. They are simple, direct, radiant, and filled with divine authority. God's light is within me. I banish all darkness. I am one with eternal light. Speak them, beloved one, and feel their weight. They are not poetry to admire from a distance. They are a spiritual sword to be wielded in moments of trial, a torch to be lit in the caves of despair. When you declare, God's light is within me, you affirm a truth that no shadow can deny. You remind the subconscious that you are not seeking light from afar, but that the very essence of your being is already luminous. This is not borrowed light, not a dim reflection, but the indwelling flame placed within you at your birth as a soul. To remember this is to remember your divine inheritance. Then as you continue, I banish all darkness. You do not fight shadows with struggle, for what effort is needed to remove darkness once a lamp is lit? You simply declare its absence, its unreality, and by turning your attention fully toward the radiance within, the shadows that seem so heavy dissolve instantly. Imagine entering a cave sealed for centuries in pitch-black gloom. The moment a candle is struck, the centuries of darkness flee in an instant, for they were never substance, only absence. So too does your affirmation scatter despair, fear, confusion, depression, not by waging war against them, but by affirming light's presence. Finally, I am one with eternal light. Here you rise from temporary reassurance into eternal identity. You are not a being stumbling occasionally into light, falling again into shadow. You are the light itself, clothed temporarily in flesh, veiled briefly by Maya, but never extinguished. To speak this is to claim your true nature, to engrave upon the walls of your consciousness the truth that no illusion can erase. This final line lifts you beyond comfort into liberation, beyond hope into realization. Beloved one, feel the triumph of these words. Let them not pass as syllables across your lips, but let them reverberate through your chest, through your spine, through every cell of your body. Speak them until they feel alive, until you sense them shining like rays within you. For these are not human words alone, they are vibrations that harmonize you with the divine blueprint of creation itself, the eternal pattern in which light forever overcomes darkness. Remember, beloved, 1,000 years of shadow cannot resist a single flame, and the flame of spirit burns within you now. When you speak this affirmation with sincerity, with concentration, with devotion, you strike that flame into brilliance. This is the forgotten teaching. Not that darkness must be endured helplessly, but that by a single act of alignment, by a single declaration of truth, the soul can flood itself with light. Beloved one, now that the sacred words have been revealed, it is not enough to know them, you must learn the holy art of how to speak them. For the way you vibrate them determines the depth of their impact. Yogananda often said that an affirmation repeated mechanically is like striking an unstrung instrument. No music, no resonance, no power is born. But when affirmation is uttered with method, devotion, and concentration, it becomes a living current of force, reshaping the very substance of your consciousness. Therefore, let me guide you step by step into the practice of wielding this affirmation as a lamp that cannot be extinguished. First, speak the words aloud with strength 3 times. Allow your voice to carry the conviction of your soul, as though the very walls around you must hear and echo them. Speak not timidly, but with authority, for you are declaring a divine truth. When you say, God's light is within me, let your tone rise like a trumpet, as though summoning every hidden cell in your body to awaken to its luminous inheritance. Let your voice resonate as though calling even the shadows within you to listen and flee. This first stage engraves the affirmation upon the conscious mind, like carving letters boldly into stone. Then, speak the affirmation in a whisper 3 times. Let it become intimate, tender, as though sharing a secret with the beloved who dwells in the stillness of your heart. Whisper so that only your own ears and God's can hear, and in that softness feel the words sinking more deeply, bypassing the noise of intellect and settling into the subconscious. Whispering draws the energy inward. It is like watering seeds hidden beneath the soil, unseen but alive, ready to grow. Finally, repeat the affirmation silently 3 times, concentrating deeply at the spiritual eye, the point between the eyebrows, the seat of divine vision. Do not merely think the words, see them as light, feel them as vibration. Let them burn across your inner sky as though written in fire. Here the affirmation sinks to its deepest level, engraving itself not only upon the conscious and subconscious, but upon the superconscious, where truth becomes realization. Silence is the highest octave of speech, and in this stage the words become one with your soul, not something you repeat, but something you are. Why 3 times aloud, 3 times whispered, 3 times within? Because repetition in this triadic way anchors the affirmation into the 3 aspects of your being: body, mind, and soul. The loud voice charges the body, stirring energy and magnetism through your nerves and muscles. The whisper charges the mind, calming and focusing its restless currents. The silent repetition charges the soul, aligning it with its eternal identity. Each stage is like hammering a peg deeper into the ground. 1 strike may hold loosely, 2 may steady it, but 3 drives it securely, anchoring the tent of your consciousness so that the storms of darkness cannot uproot it. Beloved soul, this is how you must speak the affirmation. Not casually, not hurriedly, not as one reciting memorized lines, but as a devotee wielding a sword of light, as a child crying to its eternal parent, as a soul proclaiming its true inheritance. Loud, whispering, silent body, mind, and soul, all aligned in the vibration of truth. Practice it faithfully, and you will find that the words cease to be mere words. They will become living fire, burning away shadows, illuminating your path, until at last you realize that the eternal light you invoked was never absent but has always been shining within you. Beloved soul, having learned the sacred affirmation and the method of speaking it, you must now understand how to use it in the practical rhythm of daily life. For its value lies not in occasional recitation, but in becoming the immediate response whenever shadows draw near. Too often, seekers wait for the night to deepen before they search for a lamp. But this teaching is a lamp that can be lit instantly, in any place, in any circumstance, whenever darkness attempts to veil your remembrance of God. The moment you feel heaviness of spirit, the instant confusion clouds your clarity, when restlessness steals your peace, or when fear whispers its paralyzing lies, stop and pause. Do not wrestle with the darkness. Do not debate with your thoughts. Instead, breathe deeply, call the mind to stillness, and speak the affirmation: God's light is within me. I banish all darkness. I am one with eternal light. Make this your first act, not your last resort. Just as you instinctively switch on a lamp when you step into a darkened room, so too should you instinctively switch on this affirmation when you step into moments of inner gloom. Do not wait to stumble about. Do not wait to hurt yourself upon unseen obstacles. Turn on the lamp at once. Every time you do so, you are training your consciousness to respond to negativity with remembrance, to meet shadows not with fear but with light. Soon, the affirmation will arise in you automatically, as natural as drawing breath. And when it does, the power of darkness will begin to lose its hold, for it thrives only when forgotten. It dissolves the moment you remember. Do not imagine that you must feel strong or holy to use it. The affirmation is not a reward for perfect moods, it is a medicine for the sickened soul. Even if your voice trembles, even if your heart feels heavy, even if your mind doubts, say the words. Say them until doubt weakens, until heaviness lifts, until your trembling turns to calm. Speak them not once but again and again until the vibration takes hold, until you sense the first flicker of light dawning within. And when that flicker comes, do not stop. Let it grow, let it flood, let it blaze, until you know yourself again as a child of God clothed in radiance. Beloved, you will find that each time you use this practice, the path through your darkness shortens. What once required hours of struggle will be dissolved in minutes, and what once took minutes will be scattered in seconds, until finally you discover that the shadow cannot even approach, for your inner lamp is ever lit. In this way, the affirmation ceases to be an emergency response and becomes a permanent state of readiness, a living shield of light around your soul. This is why Yogananda gave it to remind you that you are never helpless, that you carry within you the key to scatter any darkness the moment it appears. Beloved one, to deepen the strength of this affirmation and to weave it seamlessly into the fabric of your life, it is not enough to use it only in moments of trial. You must sanctify the thresholds of each day. The dawn and the dusk, for these are the hinges upon which your entire consciousness swings. At sunrise, when the world is still, When the mind has not yet been cluttered by duties and distractions, your soul stands nearest to the remembrance of its eternal origin. And at night, when you lay down the body, releasing its burdens into sleep, the subconscious is most impressionable, ready to carry seeds into the fertile ground of dream and astral experience. These two sacred times are when you must fix the affirmation into your routine, so that the lamp of light is not only available when shadows threaten, but burning steadily as the atmosphere of your being. In the morning, rise before the noise of the day claims you. Sit quietly, spine erect, gaze uplifted to the spiritual eye, and take 3 slow, deep breaths. With each exhalation, feel yourself releasing the residue of yesterday's restlessness. Then speak aloud with confidence. God's light is within me. I banish all darkness. I am one with eternal light. Repeat in a whisper, then in silence at the spiritual eye, exactly as you have been taught. Feel the vibration, fill your nerves, charge your thoughts, ignite your heart. By doing this at dawn, you polish the mirror of your consciousness, so that when you step into the activities of the day, you reflect only radiance and not shadows. Just as a warrior would not enter battle without armor, you must not enter the battlefield of daily life without this shield of affirmation. At night, before you close your eyes and sleep, practice again. Do not collapse into unconsciousness, carrying with you the debris of the day, fears, regrets, confusions. Sit for a few minutes in stillness, breathe deeply, and repeat the affirmation with devotion. As you whisper, imagine the burdens of the day dissolving into light. As you repeat silently, visualize your subconscious cleansed, as though every corner of the mind is being illuminated by a gentle sun. Say with full conviction, I am one with eternal light. Fall asleep in that vibration, and you will find that even your dreams are colored by peace, and your awakening in the morning will be brightened by joy. This morning and evening practice is like polishing a mirror at the beginning and end of each day. Without polishing, dust accumulates unnoticed until reflection fades. With daily polishing, the mirror remains clear, always ready to reflect the sun. So too, your consciousness. If you neglect the morning, the dust of forgetfulness dims you through the day. If you neglect the evening, the dust of restlessness carries into the night. But if you maintain both, your inner light shines steadily, and darkness cannot cling to you. Beloved one, make this your rhythm. Light at dawn, light at dusk. Soon you will see that your entire life becomes bracketed by radiance, framed by remembrance, and saturated with divine power. Then even in the hours between, when shadows attempt to intrude, they will find no soil in which to take root, for your being is already filled with light. Beloved one, to inspire your faith and to strengthen your resolve, let me share with you the living proof of this practice. For Yogananda's words were never meant to remain as lofty philosophy. They were meant to be tested, lived, and experienced in the daily struggles of sincere seekers like yourself. Many of his disciples came to him burdened by fears, depression, confusion, and spiritual dryness, and he gave them not only meditation techniques but also affirmations of light, short, potent declarations that, when repeated with devotion, turned despair into strength and doubt into radiant assurance. There was once a student who had long wrestled with overwhelming anxiety, her mind trapped in an endless loop of dark possibilities. She confessed that she felt as though shadows followed her wherever she went, robbing her of peace even in prayer. Yogananda, with eyes filled with compassion, instructed her to repeat again and again, God's light is within me. I banish all darkness. I am one with eternal light. At first, she spoke mechanically, her heart heavy, her faith uncertain. Yet he encouraged her. Say it with persistence. The shadow will resist at first, but light is stronger. Continue until you feel the truth. And so she did. Each morning and evening she whispered the phrase, and each time the shadows felt a little less dense, the anxiety a little less binding. Within weeks, she testified that moments of fear were scattered as soon as she repeated the affirmation, like mist dissolving under the rising sun. What once felt like an unbreakable chain was revealed to be only a veil, easily lifted once she remembered. Another seeker, a man weighed down by deep grief after the passing of a loved one, found himself surrounded by a darkness of sorrow so heavy he could barely lift his head in prayer. To him, Yogananda said, "Each day try to fill yourself with light, and darkness will flee." The man was skeptical, for his sorrow felt like an ocean too vast to cross. Yet he obeyed, speaking each day the affirmation with trembling lips. In time, his grief softened, not by denying his love for the departed, but by realizing that the light within both himself and his beloved was eternal. "I am one with eternal light," he repeated, and soon he felt that his loved one too was safe in that same eternal radiance. The affirmation did not erase his humanity, but it lifted him into a higher vision, where love was no longer bound by death but illumined by eternity. Beloved, these are not rare miracles for saints alone. They are examples of what happens whenever the soul dares to speak truth into the silence of despair. Words of light, spoken with devotion, become vibrations that reshape reality. Just as a wilted plant, deprived of sunlight, revives instantly when turned toward the sun, so too the human heart, bowed by shadows, revives when turned toward God's light through affirmation. Yogananda's disciples, and countless seekers since, discovered that no darkness can cling to a soul that daily declares its identity with the eternal light. And so I say to you, do not only admire these stories, become one yourself. Test this forgotten teaching. Use the affirmation in your hours of need. Record how the shadows fall away. Share your light with others. In doing so, you will live as a child of light, and your very life will stand as a story that inspires others to rise from darkness into radiance. Beloved one, having seen how others have triumphed through the sacred affirmation, you must now engrave the truth of your own eternal identity into the core of your being. For the ultimate power of these words is not simply in banishing passing shadows, but in awakening you to the realization that you were never truly dark at all. Darkness has no substance, it is absence. And you, child of God, are never absent from His light, though you may forget it for a time. Yogananda proclaimed with certainty, "You are not a mortal being seeking light. You are light itself, temporarily obscured by clouds of delusion." To live in this remembrance is to step out of the cycle of fear and into the freedom of eternal truth. Let us therefore enter into an affirmation loop that does not merely dispel shadows for a moment, but installs divine memory so deeply that even when clouds appear, you no longer mistake them for reality. With calm breath and uplifted gaze, say with me inwardly, "I am light." Do not whisper it as a metaphor, but as a decree of fact. You are not like light. You are not trying to reach light, you are light. Imagine your entire being glowing, rays streaming from your heart, from your eyes, from your very thoughts. Say again, "I am light." Then rise into the next octave, "I shine with God's joy." Feel that joy radiating through you, not dependent on circumstance, not shaken by sorrow. Joy is the natural effulgence of light, and when you affirm it, you awaken it. Finally, speak with the authority of your soul. No shadow can touch me. Know it, feel it, believe it. Just as clouds cannot extinguish the sun, so no fear, no failure, no sorrow can extinguish the light of God within you. At most, they pass as veils, brief coverings, but always the radiance shines behind them, ready to break through. Beloved, this is your eternal identity. Light clothed in flesh, eternity expressing itself through time, spirit playing for a while as human. When you live in this remembrance, shadows may still appear, but they no longer terrify. You see them for what they are, passing mists before the sun. You stand calm, radiant, unwavering, because you know that your essence is not fragile, not fleeting, but indestructible. You are the image of God, the flame of spirit, the undying spark of the infinite. Therefore, take these affirmations not as temporary comforts, but as the very seal of your identity. Speak them daily until they saturate your subconscious. Whisper them in moments of doubt until doubt dissolves. Repeat them in silence until silence itself glows with their truth. I am light. I shine with God's joy. No shadow can touch me. This is your forgotten memory restored, your eternal identity claimed. From this realization, you will no longer live as one begging for light. You will live as one who carries it, who spreads it, who is it. And in that realization lies freedom beyond all fear, beyond all sorrow, beyond all darkness forever. Beloved one, as this sacred journey draws to its close, let us gather all that has been given and place it as a lamp in your hands, so that you may walk with unwavering assurance no matter how deep the night may seem. You have learned that darkness is not a power in itself, but only the absence of divine remembrance, a veil drawn across the window of the soul. You have seen how Yogananda, in his compassion, offered a forgotten teaching words of light, simple enough for any heart to speak, yet powerful enough to dissolve shadows that have lingered for years. You have learned how to prepare the mind with calmness, the heart with devotion, the voice with conviction, until the affirmation becomes not merely a phrase but a living current of transformation. You have been shown how to weave this practice into the daily rhythm of dawn and dusk, and how to invoke it in any moment of fear, temptation, or sorrow. And you have claimed your eternal identity as a being of light, untouchable by shadows, radiant with God's joy. Therefore, let this be your final decree, the seal upon your consciousness. God's light is within me now and forever. Say it once with strength, as though the universe itself must hear it. Say it again with tenderness, as though whispering to the beloved within. Say it once more in silence, engraving it upon your soul. In this threefold way, body, mind, and spirit, you make the truth your own. And when you rise from this moment, you will not rise as one who hopes for light, but as one who carries it wherever you go. Beloved, imagine yourself as a traveler once lost in a wilderness of night, stumbling and fearful. Into your hand is now placed a torch aflame kindled by the eternal fire of God. With this torch you no longer grope or falter, for every step ahead is illumined. But more than this, your torch is not only for you, its light casts a glow upon the path for others walking nearby. They too, weary and afraid, will see your lamp and take courage. In this way, by living this teaching, you become not only liberated from your own darkness, but a messenger of light to countless souls. Carry this torch always. Speak the words when shadows creep, but even when shadows do not come, speak them still, that your lamp may never grow dim. Let your life itself become the affirmation, so that without even opening your mouth, your presence whispers to the world, God's light is within me now and forever, and may the blessing of the Masters, the eternal remembrance of the Beloved, and the invincible radiance of the Spirit go with you always.